I wanted to show a close-up of the penguins. They turned out really cute. Here's the other one. Now the hats have a separate video tutorial. This is the Crochet Santa doll hat. So if you want to make this for your penguin, there's a separate video tutorial for that. I made mine so that they're removable off of the penguin. So if the person wanted to take them off, they can. But if you want to sew them on, you can do that as well. So in this video tutorial, I show you how I make the cute little scarf that goes with it. And then for this penguin, you can see I have a little snow patch on the bottom. Here's a close-up of the feet and the tail in the back, and then it has flippers. The little snow patch helps so that the penguin can stand up as well. And then their eyes, beautiful blue eyes. These are Suncatcher craft eyes, safety eyes. You see how beautiful the craft eyes are made. This one is named Glitter because of the sparkle yarn that I used. The one with the green hat is called Lickety Split. So here I just want to show you how I packaged them up. Here's Lickety Split. Put a little tree ornament with a little cat on it. And then of course on the back of this card I'm going to put the direct link to the YouTube channel for making Lickety Split. And then there's a candy cane on the back. And then there's a toy, a little art toy to go with Lickety Split's gift package. And then here is Glitter. Glitter also has a similar gift package. The ornament on this one is the little dog, a little candy cane. And then on the back I also have a little blank Christmas card on the inside and the same art toy. So you can have fun with it and make your own little gift bags. These are going for Toys for Tots. Then just for fun, I just want to show you what I made for the raffle for Toys for Tots. So it's an event here in San Diego, and this is the one that I'm donating. There's a separate video tutorial for this cute dog. It has a bandana on as well as a name tag. Has a name tag on. And then also I included a book, The Wizard of Oz, and has a little ball in the front that says love. And here's the bandana and the beautiful bow that goes on it. For this crochet project, I'm using my 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. I'm also using a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. I'm using Suncatcher craft eyes. You can order these online by suncatchereyes.com. Amazon also sells these, and I'm using the 15 millimeter size, and I chose the blue safety eyes. For this adorable penguin, I used a sapphire or a navy blue yarn. It was some of my leftover navy blue yarn. And then also I just used a Red Heart equivalent white yarn. And then I used a yellow yarn color for the beak and the feet. For my other penguin, I used I Love This yarn. Some of my leftover yarn from my Christmas sweaters, and I used the metallic black. Here's some more information on this yarn. I also used I Love This cotton yarn. I'm not using pink though, I'm using the white metallic sparkly yarn by I Love This cotton yarn. And I'm just using some of my leftover yellow yarn. I believe this is Pound of Love. It's a soft yellow baby soft yarn. We're going to start with the head, so go ahead and grab whatever main color yarn you're using for your penguin. And we're going to start with a magic circle. just take the yarn and drape it across your 4 fingers. Use your thumb to stabilize. Then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, and again I'm using my 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. Put it under the 2 loops that you have around your middle fingers. You're going to bring up a loop. Then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So you just bring up a loop, you have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a single crochet. You're going to place 6 of them into the magic circle. Then you're going to take your forefinger and your thumb, hold your 6 single crochet at the base of the 6 single crochet. You have the 2 loops on the opposite side. You're going to pull on one. If it doesn't close, let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing. Just gently close it as much as you can. We can close it more later. Then just take that loose yarn end and pull on that. Then just turn your work. And we're going to start in the first stitch. So you can see how you're forming a circle. Go into that first stitch. Make sure you grab both loops. And you're going to place 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And then you're going to make 2 single crochet in every stitch around until you have a total of 12. Okay, so this is my last stitch for a total of 12 stitches around the circle. And now you can grab your yarn marker, and then also you could turn your work over and pull on that loose yarn end, and that will completely close the center of your magic circle. So now you're going to take your yarn marker and place it right where you left off. I'm just using one of my scraps of yarn. And then we're going to make the first of 6 increase rounds, and that means that we're going to be increasing the number of stitches around the circle. So for the first increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. I'm going to make one more set with you. 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Then go ahead, repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Your work should look like this, and you should have a total of 18 stitches around your circle. Then just take and move the yarn marker up to where you left off for our next increase round. For our next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then in the third stitch you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, 2 single crochet into the third stitch, all the way around back to the yarn marker, and then come back. So you should have finished 24 stitches on that last round. Now for the next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So you should have had 30 stitches on that last round. Now for the next round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the same stitch for the 5th stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. That last round should have had 36 stitches total. And now for the next, we have 2 more increase rounds. For this next increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 5 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the same stitch for the 6th stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Now you're ready for your last increase round. That last round should have had 42 stitches in it. And for your last increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 6 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the same stitch for the 7th stitch. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now you should have a total of 48 stitches on that last increase round. Now every round that you make is going to have the same number of stitches. So every round should end up with 48 stitches total from now on. No more increase rounds, meaning we're not going to increase the number of stitches. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is the size that we want, so you don't want to increase it in size anymore. So now you go ahead, take your yarn marker and move it up. And for 12 rounds, you're going to make only 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So 1 single crochet in every stitch around for a total of 12 rounds. Now you can see that I've reached the yarn marker. You don't take it out, you just continue. So you just continue making 1 single crochet in every stitch around. And the yarn marker will help you keep track of how many rows that you've completed, or rounds I mean. So you want to complete a total of 12 rounds of just 1 single crochet in every stitch. So now you should have completed 12 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can see how it forms a cup because we had the same number of stitches around. For each round you form a cup. It doesn't keep getting bigger. Now just set this aside and we're going to work on the snout. Take whatever white colored yarn that you're using for the beak and snout. This is going to be behind the beak. You're just going to take the yarn, fold it over on itself to form a loop, then take your crochet hook, go right through the loop. I'm using the same size, 3.75 millimeter. Hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb. You're just going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for a slip knot. Just cinch the knot down. And then we're going to start with a chain. I'm going to show you 4 of them, but you're going to make a total of 14. So you just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead, finish a chain of 14 and then come back. After you finish your chain of 14, then you're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So you just go right into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make your single crochet, then you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch back across. So 1 single crochet in every stitch back across, and then come back. Now I'd finished making 1 single crochet into that last stitch on the end. You're actually going to make 2 more single crochet into the same stitch, so you have a total of 3 single crochet on that end. Then you're going to turn your work upside down so you can see where we made single crochet stitches all across the bottom. Now we're going to work on the opposite side, so we're going to start working in rounds. So we just finished 3 single crochet into that last stitch. Now you're going to go into the next stitch over, and you're going to go behind your loose yarn end, bring up a loop, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back across, and then come back. So 1 single crochet in every stitch back across on the opposite side. So now I have 1 stitch left on the end, so I have 26 stitches around, and I'm going to work into the 27th stitch, which is my last stitch in the round. I'm going to make 3 single crochet into the same stitch on the opposite end. And this is what my work looks like so far. Now you're going to need a yarn marker. Now place your yarn marker right where you left off, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch until you get to the stitch on the end. So I have 1 single crochet into 13 stitches before I get to the 14th stitch on the end. When you reach the end, come back and I'll show you what to do next. So you can see how I made 1 single crochet in every stitch across, and now I have the stitch, there's 1 stitch on the very end, and in that stitch you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So 2 single crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch back to the yarn marker, except for the last stitch right before the yarn marker. We're going to place 2 single crochet into that stitch. This is how my work looks so far. You can see how I'm at the last stitch right before the yarn marker. I'm going to make 2 single crochet into that last stitch on the end. Then you can go ahead and move your yarn marker up. Then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around until you've completed 2 rounds. So 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So I had a total of 31 stitches on that first round, and we're making 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, so you just keep going. Keep going past the yarn marker. You're not going to remove it. It just helps you keep track of your rounds, because we want 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. After you finish your second round, 1, 2, go ahead and remove your yarn marker, and you're going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. So just take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then go ahead and finish off, just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop, bringing enough yarn through to sew this onto your penguin. This is what it looks like so far. Now I'm going to show you how to make the top portion. You're going to take your white yarn, and this is the portion that's going to be behind the eyes. So right here, this portion right here, behind the eyes. You're going to take your yarn, fold it over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, I'm still using the same size, 3.75 millimeter. Hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, then yarn over and turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Now you're going to make a chain of 12. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. So go ahead, finish a chain of 12 and then come back. After you finish your chain of 12, you're going to take your crochet hook and go into the second chain from the hook. You're going to bring up a loop, make a single crochet, then you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch back across. So 1 single crochet in every stitch back across and then come back. After you finished 1 single crochet into the last stitch, go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, then you're going to take your crochet hook and go into the next stitch over. You'll see how there's a little upslope here at the base of your chain 1. Don't go in that stitch, go into the next stitch over. And then you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch back across. I just finished a single crochet into the last stitch on the end. Then you're just going to keep repeating. Chain 1, turn your work, and then 1 single crochet in every stitch across until you've completed 4 rows. So go ahead, finish completing 4 rows of 1 single crochet in every stitch. For mine, I just finished 4 rows of 1 single crochet in every stitch. Now you're going to chain 1, turn, and then you're just going to make 1 single crochet. So that's my second, third, fourth, fifth, and 6th, so about halfway. Then you're just going to turn your work. You're going to go into the next stitch over for a single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and the next stitch, and the last stitch. Then you're going to turn your work, go into the next stitch, into the next stitch, next stitch, next stitch, turn your work. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over for a single crochet, a single crochet into the second stitch. Then you're going to slip stitch into that last stitch. So go into that last stitch, yarn over, bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you're going to finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew that piece onto your penguin. Now we're going to make the other curve on the other side. You're going to turn the work so that the curved portion is on the right side. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go right into that last stitch that you made on that first curve. Then you're just going to take and bring up a loop with your yarn. Make sure you leave enough yarn for tying a knot. You're going to chain 1. Then just turn your work over and tie a knot. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch to the end. chain 1, turn your work, go into the next stitch over for a single crochet, next stitch over, next stitch over, and then go ahead and make a single crochet in that last stitch. Then you can turn your work, go into the next stitch over, next stitch over, and then into the last stitch. Turn your work, go into the next stitch over, next stitch over, and then go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch and finish off. Then you have the top portion all completed. I'm just taking this loose yarn end on the back to get it out of the way. I'm just going to bury it into my work and then go ahead and cut it. So I only have the top part that I left the long ends for sewing these two portions onto the penguin. Then I'm going to take some of the yarn and put it onto a tapestry needle, or you can just take the long end that you left on your portion that goes behind the beak, because you're going to have the right side facing you for the portion. We don't have the beak on there yet, but this is the portion that goes behind the beak. Have the right side facing you. You're also going to take the right side of the top portion that goes above this portion, and then you're going to fold it down so that the right sides are facing each other, and then make sure that you have it centered. So you want to make sure that you have it centered. And then fold it down. Then you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to sew that top portion in place. So you just take your tapestry needle and go through the stitches onto the bottom portion that goes behind the beak, and then that top white portion that goes behind the eyes. And then you're just going to take and sew the pieces together. And then come back. Then when you fold it back up, you'll see that you have the pieces sewn together. Now I'm going to show you how to make the beak. Take the color that you want for the beak. I'm using a yellow color. You're just going to take and fold the yarn over on itself. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 8. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go into the second chain from the hook for a single crochet, and then you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch back across. Then you're going to turn your work, go into the next stitch over, and make a single crochet into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. Then turn your work, go into the next stitch over for 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then turn your work, go into the next stitch over for a single crochet into 1, 2, 3, 4. Then turn your work, go into the next stitch over for 1, 2, 3. Then turn your work, go into the next stitch over for 1, then slip stitch into the next stitch and finish off. Just enough for burying your loose yarn end. And you're going to need 2 of these. So again, you start with the chain of 8 and then make 2 of these. Now after you have 2 of them, then you're going to lay them on top of each other. Make sure that you have the top portions together, and then this is my bottom portion. Then you can take and tie a knot with your loose yarn ends on the side. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go right into the end. We're going to crochet the 2 ends together of the beak. Take and hook your same colored yarn, bring it through, chain 1, and then go ahead and tie a knot with the loose yarn end. Then you just take and go into the next stitch over. You're crocheting both sides of the beak together. So you bring up a loop and make a single crochet. Go into the next space over. You're kind of evenly spacing it because there's no real stitch that you can go into. So you're just kind of evenly spacing the single crochets all along the sides of the 2 beaks and just crocheting the 2 pieces together. And then when you reach the top, you may need 2 single crochet into the same space as you're working around the top of the beak. And then what I do is I fold the loose yarn ends in between the 2 beaks as I'm crocheting the ends together. So now I'm at the second stitch at the top of the beak. And I'm going to make 2 into that same stitch as I'm working across the top. And then I'm going to evenly space the single crochet down the opposite side. If it's easier for you, you can use your tapestry needle also to sew the 2 ends together, but I like the way you get that even stitch around the beak when you crochet the pieces together. So I'm going to put 1 more in the bottom of this last side. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the beak onto the white portion of the penguin face. This is how my beak looks, and then I just kind of tuck all of the loose yarn ends into the center of the beak. Just gives it a little bit of yarn stuffing. And then the beak is ready to be sewn on to the white portion of the penguin's face. Then you just take your tapestry needle, put it onto that long end that you left for sewing, and I placed my beak right across the top of that center of the white portion behind the beak. So I just took it and placed it right above it. And then I'm also going to center it. So make sure that the beak is centered onto the front of the face. And then when you have it placed where you want, you just take your tapestry needle and just go in and out, sewing it all along the outer edge of the beak. Sewing it in place. This is what my beak looks like after I've sewn it on. Now I'm going to place the eyes. This is how I placed my eyes, about a couple rows up. And then you can see the space that I have between the eyes. And then kind of centered on both sides of the beak. At the same time, I have equal distance here and here for the eyes. So once you have the eyes where you like them, then you're just going to turn it over and place your safety latch. So you have this nice safety latch on the back of the eye. And you just, once you put it on though, you're not going to be able to get it off. So make sure you have your eyes positioned where you want them. Then you can put your safety latch in place. Now it's ready to be sewn on to the head. Now you're going to get the top portion of the head and leave the loop that you're working at the bottom on the opposite side. So that'll be towards the back. Then you're going to take the same colored yarn as the face and put that onto your tapestry needle. Then you're going to turn the work upside down, get the front portion of the face and line up the bottom part of the white portion behind the beak, leaving one round exposed on the top of the head. And the only portion you're going to sew right now is the bottom portion of the face. So just take your tapestry needle and sew the bottom portion only. You can tie a knot on the inside. So once you've sewn the bottom portion only, then you can take and lift up the face and place just a little bit of craft stuffing. Just place a little bit of craft stuffing in there. Then I'm just taking my tapestry needle and I'm leaving the bottom portion, the yarn that I was using to sew the bottom portion. I'm going to leave that there, and then I have some long loose yarn then that I left for sewing, or you can just grab some more of the white, same colored yarn, and take and sew the top portion down. So I've already sewn the bottom, and now I'm just taking and sewing across the top, positioning the beak so that it's facing straight. You don't want it crooked. And then you just sew across the top portion of the beak. Then you can go ahead and take and sew the sides and the rest of the face in place. Then you have your cute little face sewn in place. Now we're ready to close the head. Take your yarn marker and move it up. We're going to start our first decrease round. So for the decrease round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you're going to make your decrease stitch. So you take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 for single crochet 2 together or a decrease stitch. So I'm going to make one more set with you. You're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet into 6 stitches. And then your decrease stitch or single crochet 2 together. So go ahead, repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker and then come back. Then go ahead and move your yarn marker up for the next decrease round. For the next decrease round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 5 stitches and then make your decrease stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then for the next decrease round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then your decrease stitch. Now you can see how the hole is getting the hole is getting smaller as you're closing. You can take your craft stuffing or pillow stuffing and put that into the head of the penguin. Then you're just going to take and move the yarn marker up for the next decrease round, and you guessed it, we're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then make your decrease stitch. Then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. This is how my work looks so far. I moved up the yarn marker for my next decrease round is 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then my decrease stitch. Then I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then 1 single crochet into 1 stitch and then your decrease stitch. You can see how we're almost closed. Now you can go ahead and get rid of the yarn marker. I'm just going to close this with you. You're going to make decrease stitches around until you're almost closed or you can't make the decrease stitches anymore. And then once you get to a point where you just can't make any more decrease stitches, then you're going to slip stitch it closed. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So now you just take and skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And it looks like I only need 1 more. And now it's completely closed. So then I can go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you just take your yarn tapestry needle, put it onto that loose yarn end. Then you take your tapestry needle, go right where you tied or finished off, come out anywhere on the head, and then just trim that loose yarn end. You can shape your penguin head now. And now you're finished with the penguin head. I'm going to show you how to make the body. For the front panel on the penguin's body, you're going to use whatever color that you used for the face of the penguin. Then you just take the yarn, fold it over on itself, take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, this yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for your slip knot. Now you're going to make a chain of 22. I'm just going to make 4 of them with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead, finish a chain of 22 and then come back. After you finish your chain of 22, you're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to go into the second chain from the hook. Then bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through both loops for a single crochet. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over and make a single crochet. And you're going to make one single crochet in every stitch back across and then come back. I just finished my last single crochet in the last stitch. Then you're going to chain one, turn your work, and again you're not going to go into this base of the first chain one base stitch. You're going to go into the next stitch over and then make a single crochet. And you're going to keep repeating this pattern, chain one, turn, one single crochet in every stitch until you've completed 14 rows. So 14 rows of one single crochet in every stitch across. This is what the front panel looks like when you're finished. It's going to actually go vertically. So I have 14 rows, and you can see how I have a straight edge where I made my chain ones and then turned. So 14 rows for the front panel. The back panel is made the exact same way. So you start with your chain of 22 and then 14 rows of one single crochet in every stitch. So the front panel, the back panel. The side panel is also made the exact same way. However, you're going to start with a chain of 65. So a chain of 65, chain one, turn your work, one single crochet in every stitch until you've completed 4 rows. So starting chain of 65 and then 4 rows of one single crochet in every stitch. So you'll need to complete one front panel, one back panel, and one side panel. Now your work is ready to be sewn together for the body. So you're going to take your side panel and your front panel. The first thing I did was just tie a knot with one of the loose yarn ends on each the front panel and the side panel. Then you're going to take whatever color, I would use the dark colored panel, the same colored yarn as the side panel, and then put some of the yarn onto your tapestry needle for sewing. The first thing you want to do is to sew each of the corners. So just lay your work flat. Line up the first side panel and then take and go through the corner and just leave a small amount of loose yarn end. Tie a knot and then do that for each of the corners. That way your side panel will reach all the way around before you start sewing the pieces together. You can see how I tied each of the corners in place and then the two ends together. Make sure that it's not twisted. Then you're just ready to fold down the first side panel, the first side to the front panel. Just take your tapestry needle with the same colored yarn as the side panel and then just start sewing the pieces together. So you just go in and out, sewing the 2 stitches on the front panel and the side panel. And you're going to sew all the way around. And then come back. I have all of the sides sewn together. This is the right side. You can see how the side is attached all the way around. Now we're ready to attach the back side. So make sure you have it turned inside out so that the right side is facing inside. So this is the right side. Now you're going to take your back panel for the body and put the right side on facing the right side. So this is the right side facing the right side. And then you're going to attach each of the corners. Just take some of the black yarn on your tapestry needle or the same colored yarn. Then you're just going to take and line up the corners. Then you're just going to cut a short piece just so that the corners are stable and won't be moving around as you're sewing it in place. So go ahead and do that to each of the corners and then come back. So I've tied each of the corners on the back of the body, that way it's secure. Now you're going to take and sew the edges closed. So you just take your tapestry needle, start in the corner, and then you're just going to take your tapestry needle and just sew back and forth the same way that you did for the front of the body to the side. Now the only difference is that you need to leave the bottom part open because you need to be able to stuff it with your craft stuffing. So go ahead and sew 3 of the sides closed, but leave the bottom portion open and then come back. Then after you've finished sewing the 3 sides, just take and turn it inside out. And then you're going to take your craft stuffing and stuff the body. After you finish stuffing the body, then you can take and line up the edges, the back and the side. Take your tapestry needle and just sew the edge closed together. Make sure you leave enough of a loose yarn end for burying into your work. Then you just take and finish sewing the side to the back panel. Until it's closed. This is how mine looks after sewing the body shut. Then the part that I sewed shut is the part that I'm going to take and place the penguin head on top of, and then you're just going to sew the penguin head in place. So make sure that the penguin head is facing straight for the front panel as you sew the head in place. So I'm just taking my tapestry needle and I'm going in the body and up through the head and then coming out the front with my tapestry needle. And I'm just going to go around the head, making sure that I'm keeping the head straight so that the beak is lined up with the front of the body. Then I'm going to go back into the head and then down into the body and out the back. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around until I have the head completely sewn onto the body. This is what my head looks like after sewing it in place. Now I'm going to show you how to make the flippers. For the flippers, you're going to have two different colored yarns. One for the back of the flipper and then one for the inside of the flipper. And then we're going to take and crochet the two pieces together. So I'm going to show you how to make the flipper using the white yarn. You're going to take the white yarn, fold it over on itself to form a loop, take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, use your middle finger and thumb and hold the base of the loop, then make your slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 10. So I'm just going to show you 4 of them. And then go ahead and finish making a chain of 10 and then come back. After you make a chain of 10, then you're going to take your crochet hook and go into the second chain from the hook. Bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch back across. So that will count as my second row. Then we're going to move up to the third row. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and just like before, you're not going to work into the base of that chain 1 you made. You're going to go into the next stitch over and then make your single crochet. So you're going to repeat this, 1 single crochet in every stitch, chain 1, turn your work, and then single crochet into the next stitch over until you've completed a total of 8 rows, and then come back. After you've completed 8 rows of 1 single crochet in every stitch, then you're going to turn your work, so no chain 1, just turn your work, and then you're going to go into the next stitch over and make a single crochet into each stitch across and then come back. So I just finished making 1 single crochet into 8 stitches. Then I'm going to turn my work and then make a single crochet into the next stitch over, and this time you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. Then you're going to turn your work, go into the next stitch over, and this time you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches. Then you're going to turn your work, then you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. I'm just going to go ahead and do it with you. Then I'm going to turn my work, and this time I'm going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then I'm going to make a slip stitch into the 4th stitch. So I'm going to take my crochet hook, go into that next stitch, yarn over, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then I'm going to finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you're going to need 2 of these, 2 of the one color on the inside of the flipper, and then you're going to need 2 for the outside of the flipper. Now the tail is made the same way up until you get to that 4th stitch. So make the tail the exact same way, but instead of slip stitching into that 4th stitch, you're going to make a single crochet. You want more of a tip, pointed tip on the tail. Then just turn your work, make a single crochet into the next 3 stitches, then turn your work, make a single crochet into the next stitch, and then just slip stitch into the second stitch and then finish off. And you only want enough to bury your loose yarn in. So then you need 2 of the tail and then 4 of the flippers. So now I'm going to show you how to crochet each of these together, how to crochet the tails together as well as the flippers. The first thing you're going to do is just take the 2 pieces and place them on top of each other. I placed mine so that my loose yarn ends at the bottom are together. I'm just going to tie a knot. Then you're just going to take your crochet hook and place it right in that bottom stitch, joining both colors for the flipper. And then you're going to use your black or darker colored yarn. Go ahead and loop it and bring it through. Then you're just going to chain 1 and tie a knot. Then you're just going to evenly space your single crochet all across the side, joining both ends, and just make a single crochet all the way up to the end. Just evenly space them all along the side, crocheting the 2 pieces together. You can see how I've crocheted one side together. Now I'm at the top. I'm just going to tuck the loose yarn ends into the inside of the flipper as I crochet. Now as you round the top of the flipper, you may need 2 single crochets in the same stitch before you move to the next stitch over, making a single crochet. I'm just tucking the loose yarn ends towards the inside, and I'm rounding the top of the flipper. Now I'm coming around towards the other side, and I can place 2 single crochet into the same stitch as I'm rounding the corner. And then once I'm on the other side, I can just make 1 single crochet, evenly spaced down the other side of the flipper. Then, when I've reached the bottom, I'm just going to turn it, and then I'm going to close the bottom portion or edge of the flipper together. In the bottom corner, as you're turning, you may need 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and then you just evenly space 1 single crochet across the bottom. For the loose yarn ends, I just tucked all of my loose yarn ends towards the inside. Then I just finish crocheting all the way to the end. Then when I'm finished sewing all the way across, then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and then pull enough yarn through to sew the flipper onto the penguin. So I have this flipper. You can see the inside of the one flipper, and then I have my other flipper. So you crochet them both the same way. Then just take the 2 pieces of the tail, and then you're going to crochet the tail together the same exact way that you did for the flipper. except the tail has both the same color. Then you just take and line the flipper up on the penguin so that the darker side is on the outside, and then just take your tapestry needle and sew the top portion of the flipper only, and then sew both of your flippers in place. After I've sewn my flipper in place, then what I do is I just tie a knot. Then I just go right into the body of the penguin, come out anywhere to bury the loose yarn end. And then I have the flipper sewn in place. Then I just took the tail and I positioned it right along the edge of the white portion of the front of the body. And then I just sewed the tail in place the exact same way. You want to center it and then just sew the tail in place. This is what my penguin looks like so far. Now I'm going to show you how to make the front feet. For the feet, I used my yellow yarn. We're going to start with a magic circle. Just take your yarn, drape it across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize. Wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers, hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then you're just going to bring up a loop for your slip knot. Then make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then you're going to take your 4-finger and thumb and hold the base of the 6 single crochet. We're going to close it up just like we did before. Then just turn your work. Then you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12. So 2 single crochet in every stitch around, and then come back. You should have 12 stitches all the way around your circle. Go ahead and take your yarn marker, and again I'm just using one of my scraps of yarn. We're going to make 2 increase rounds. For the first increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. Then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochet into the second stitch. For the second increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. Repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Now you're going to take your yarn marker, move it up. We're going to make 6 decrease stitches. So you're going to take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, then yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. And you're going to make 6 of these. So that was the first one. Second. Third. And the last 6th one, You can see how it makes a little pouch in the front of the foot. Then you're just going to make one single crochet in every remaining stitch back to the yarn marker and then come back. Then you can go ahead and turn your work inside out so that the loose yarn end is on the inside of the foot. Then take your yarn marker and move it up to where you left off. And you're just going to make one round of one single crochet in every stitch around. Then go ahead and move the yarn marker up, and you're going to make 5 decrease stitches. That's 2. 3. 4. And 5. Now you're just going to make one single crochet into all of the remaining stitches back to the yarn marker and then come back. Then just take your yarn marker out. Then we're going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. Then you're going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and make sure you pull enough yarn through to sew the toes and sew the foot onto the penguin. Now you just take that long end, put it onto your tapestry needle. You're going to take your tapestry needle and just weave through to about a couple stitches up on the front portion only, because we're going to start by making the toe. So we're going to split the web in the foot here. So you take your tapestry needle, this is what it looks like on the back, and then this is what it looks like on the front. You're going to take and go right into the area that you want to split the web. So we're going to split the web here, and we're going to split the web here. So this will be our first one. Just go through. Make sure that the yarn goes on the top portion where you want to split the web in the foot, and then pull it snugly. And you can see how it makes a little tiny indentation. That's the web. And you can go another time. So go back into the same area. Make sure that the yarn goes in the same spot, and then pull it snugly. You can see how it splits the web. Then just go over across to the other side on the back, come out in the front where you want to split the web on the other side. Then you just go across, come out in the same spot from the back, and then pull. Make sure it's laying where you want it first, and then just pull it snugly. You can see how it splits. I'm going to do it twice. So it splits it into little toe webs. Then just go right back in the foot towards the back, turn it over, and then just tie a knot. Then the foot is ready to be sewn onto the front of your penguin. You're going to need 2 of them. Now you're just going to position the foot onto the front. For mine, I went about 1, 2, 3 rows up. There's going to be a bottom foot that I'm going to show you how to make after we sew the feet on. So you just take and go in and out, sewing the foot in place. And then I left the toes, so I didn't sew the toes down. I just sewed the circular portion at the bottom. And then you do that on both sides, that just position them evenly on the front. This is how my feet look on the front of the penguin. Now I'm going to show you how to make the foot that goes under, or the leg portion. Now for the leg portion that goes behind the foot, you just take the main color of your penguin, and we're going to start with the magic circle, just like we've done before. You're going to place 6 single crochet. I'm going to make my slip knot first. Then make 6 single crochet into the magic circle, just like we did for the foot. I'm going to close it up. Then you're going to place 2 single crochet in every stitch around. Until you have a total of 12. Then just place a yarn marker right where you left off, and you're going to make 4 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So go ahead and complete 4 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, and then come back. After you finish 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you just make a slip stitch into the next stitch over, and then go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew it onto the penguin. And you're going to need 2 of these. Then just take your tapestry needle, put it onto the long end that you left for sewing, and you're going to place it so that the opening is going to be on the end of the foot. Then you're just going to take and sew the leg in place. Just go in and out and sew down the leg portion. So after you've sewn the open end to the foot, then you can take and sew down the rest of the leg. And do that on both sides. Now your penguin is all done. You can decorate your penguin with a scarf if you want. I'm going to show you how to make the scarf. There's a separate video tutorial if you'd like to make a little Santa hat to go for him. Or if you don't want a Santa hat, you could use the same crochet Santa doll hat in a different color. For the scarf, I'm using my 6mm crochet hook. It's a little bit larger, and I'm going to use that to make the scarf. So now for the scarf, I'm just using some of my leftover red yarn for the scarf. You're just going to take the yarn that you're using for the color for your scarf and fold it over on itself to form a loop. Then take your crochet hook, I'm using my 6mm crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain for the length that you want for your scarf. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So go ahead, make the chain size that you want for your scarf. If you want yours the same size as mine, I'll show you how long mine is. Mine is a chain of 40. Then you're going to hold that last stitch with your middle finger and thumb. And you're going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, which is the stitch that you're holding. Just yarn over. Go into that stitch that you're holding, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2, 2 loops remaining, yarn over and go through 2. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. So 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. I'll make a couple more with you. I'm going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. So go ahead, finish making 1 double crochet in every stitch back across, and then come back. When you finish your last double crochet, you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull a little bit of yarn through for the loose yarn end on the end. And then you can bury your loose yarn ends if you want, but I'm going to be making tassels on the end of the scarf, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Just take your same colored yarn, or you could make a different colored tassel if you want, and then just fold it over on itself for the length. Remember, you're going to fold this tassel in half. So whatever length that you want for the tassels, you're going to double it, and then just fold it the yarn over on itself for that length twice, then cut the yarn, then you're going to take the end of the scarf under that double crochet on the end, right in the space between the double crochets. You're going to take and hook the middle of the tassel loop that you made. Just carefully loop it and bring it through. Then you're just going to take your thumb and go into that loop. Then you can remove your crochet hook. Take 2 fingers into the loop, grab the ends of the tassel and bring it through the loop, and then pull those ends snugly down. Then you can take the loose yarn end that you have and bring that through the loop also, so that you have another end for the tassel. Then you can take and trim the end, or just cut the loops, whatever you want to do. And that's how you make the tassel. So I put 2 tassels on each end. And this is what the scarf looks like after you put it onto your penguin. For the snow patch, I used my white sparkly, I love this cotton yarn, and I'm using my 6mm crochet hook. The first thing you're going to do is start with magic circle. You can use your thumb to stabilize, and then just wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers, just like we've done in the past. Then you're just going to bring up a loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then hold the base of the 6 single crochet with your forefinger and your thumb. Close up the magic circle just like we've done in the past. Then you're going to put 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12. And then come back. Then you can take and close the center of your magic circle. You're going to need your yarn marker, and again I'm just using my scrap of yarn. We're going to make 4 increase rounds. The first increase round you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch, and then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochet into the second stitch. For the next round you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch, and repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. For the next round, 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the fourth stitch. Then 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the fifth stitch. This will be our last increase round. Then go ahead and make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. So you go into the next stitch over, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over and make 1 single crochet. Second stitch, 1 single crochet. Third stitch, 1 single crochet. Then you're going to make a half double crochet. So you yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 for a half double crochet. Make 1 more half double crochet and then single crochet into the same stitch. And you just make a little tiny shell. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch, so that's 1 single crochet into the second stitch, and then single crochet into the third stitch. Then you're going to make a half double crochet in the same stitch, half double crochet in the same stitch, single crochet into the same stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So I'm going to make 1 more with you. You're going to make a single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the second stitch, single crochet into the third stitch. Then you're going to make 2 half double crochets into the same stitch, then you're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch and then repeat. So you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning and then come back. I just finished my last shell, so now I'm just going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you can go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the penguin to the snow patch. This is the side that will go up, face up under the penguin, and then you have a loose yarn end on the bottom. Just take your tapestry needle, put it onto that loose yarn end, and just weave it through the bottom of the snow patch. I like to go a few different directions to make sure it's nice and buried. Then you can take and cut that loose yarn end. Then you're going to take the long end that you left for sewing Put that onto your tapestry needle, and then you're going to come up from the wrong side and then back down to the wrong side, and that'll just get it ready for sewing the penguin to the snow patch. Then just place your penguin onto the snow patch where you want it centered. Once you have it centered on the bottom of the penguin, then you can take your tapestry needle and just sew it in place. Then your penguin has a little snow patch. This little penguin already has a scarf. And you can see the tassels on his scarf. And then also a hat. There's a separate video tutorial. This is the crochet Santa doll hat. You could sew it onto your penguin, or you can just leave it. This one I'm not sewing on, I'm just placing it onto the head and it comes off.